Okay, that's pretty much all I'm going to do for that one. So, you're probably wondering, what the fuck just happened there? Well, I'll tell you what the fuck just happened. That was a special opening! This is my 100th video! I honestly did not think I'd have the motivation or interest to actually make 100 videos, but here I am. And, of course, I'm going to give out thanks to all my subscribers, because even though I don't really have a lot of subscribers, you're still important. You're the reason I keep doing this. So, I want to thank you for your support and interest in my channel. And so, with 100 videos now, I've got to I had to make a decision of what I was going to do. And I was trying to think of what I could do, like either a Dr. Cinema diagnosis, a movie face-off, one of my old rants that I used to do when I first started the channel. But then I got to thinking, let's do a play-by-play review. I mean, I gotta pick a good one. Of course, I don't really want to use Battlefield Earth, because that's been done to death. I don't want to do The Room, because that's been done to death. So what can I pick? Then I realized, Friday the 13th, Goofy, Jason X! Now this is possibly the strangest installment of the Friday the 13th franchise. Not to say there haven't been any strange ones, there have. But after the less than stellar performance of Jason Takes Manhattan, Paramount decided to move Friday the 13th to New Line Cinema, home of the Elm Street movies, which seemed like a good decision. Then we got Jason Goes to Hell, Final Friday. Final, yeah. It was not what a lot of people were expecting, but the movie did end with Freddy's clawed hand taking Jason's mask down to hell. So we're like, oh shit, a Freddy versus Jason movie. This is gonna be awesome. But that's been stuck in development hell for like 10 years until it released in 2003. But until they realized that they were actually going to get this off the ground, they decided to let a director make another installment of the Friday franchise, where Jason goes to space. And it was released 2 years before Freddy vs. Jason was released. So, how good is it? Well, Quachi and I are going to take a look at it. I don't care if you wanted to do a rant video, we're doing this. This is Jason X, which is technically Jason 10, but Jason X sounds a lot cooler. So let's get started. So we open up with the Crystal Lake Research Facility, which I guess is owned by the government/military. And we see Jason's all chained and bound and in captivity. And it's wait, didn't Jason go to hell in the last movie? You know, Jason Goes to Hell? How did he come back to Earth, and why is he chained up? I have so many questions already. Well, the woman in charge is a woman named Rowan, and then a bunch of other government military people come in saying that, and the guy who's leading them is saying, I literally went over your head and got permission to just take Jason with me, and I am actually willing to risking innocent people's lives to take him to my facility. He actually says that. He's actually willing to risk innocent lives to do what he wants to do. Of course, the guy with him's everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be under control, man. Yeah, I'm sure everything's gonna be under control in a Jason movie. But when they go into where they keep Jason, he's apparently out of his chains. He starts killing them all. And Rowan sort of secretly lures Jason down to the basement area where they have the cryogenic chambers where they were gonna freeze him. And so she gets him to the chamber, starts the process. Before that takes place, he uses the machete to go through the chamber door and sort of stab Rowan in the stomach a little bit, which causes a lockdown in the chamber area, and they're both cryogenically frozen. And then that fades to black. And when it comes back, we see a bunch of people in sort of hazmat-like suits going down into the basement area. And it's pretty clear that no one's been down here for a while with cobwebs and dust everywhere. And so they get into the door and they meet, the cryogenically frozen woman, unidentified, and the unidentified thing in the chamber, which of course is Jason. And there's and they take off their masks and such. We see they're roughly like college age kids, which is weird. And they begin looking at the Jason first, and they're like, "What's that on his face? What is that? That's a hockey mask. What's a hockey mask?" And a woman is like, "Oh, hockey was a sport that was outlawed in 2024. Wait. Hockey was outlawed? Who the fuck signed off on that? Right? Who the fuck outlawed hockey? Did Wayne Gretzky get into like a fit of rage and did people say that was because of hockey? What happened? I want a prequel movie. Why was hockey outlawed? I am so many questions. And they inspect the other stuff, including the cryogenic chamber, and I think I hear one of them say this was manufactured in 2010. Wait, Jason Goes to Hell was in the 90s. And Freddy vs. Jason was in 2003, and we can assume they take place in the year that they were released. So this takes place in the future? I thought this was just in space. Whatever, I'll go with it. So they see the woman Rowan. They see that they could actually probably bring her back to life out of her status. So they take both of them to the ship, and we see that Earth is pretty desolate landscape. And so they get into the spaceship. They go up into the bigger, larger transport ship that's sort of like the ship from the Alien movie that's just really big and there's just a lot to it. And so they meet up with the person they call the professor, and they begin to reanimate Rowan. And using badly CG nanobots, they actually do bring her back to pretty much perfect shape. And they, before they do that, they also scan Jason's body and and they make a joke saying he has a small brain. And one of the horny girls is like, he must be hung like a mammoth. Well, he is pretty big. I don't really see why you brought that up. Is it just a horror movie thing? Do we have to have a horny girl that says weird stuff like that? He must be hung like a mammoth? Why are you complimenting the... yeah, that. So Rowan obviously is pretty shocked and like scared when she wakes up. Like she's really confused with what's going on, and the professor tells her that the year is 2455, and that she's been like in cryogenically frozen for over 400 years. What? Okay, I can take the space thing, but this is also in the future? I mean, I guess since this takes place so far in the future, Jason X can still be canon in the Friday the 13th movies, but wow, we really going with the time travel thing. Okay. So, the professor's off by himself in his office later, and he tells like his superior boss that the professor and a bunch of his college students, okay, they found these two cryogenically frozen people. One of them they reanimated, and she's like over 400 years old. And the professor's like, people are gonna pay to see her, and his boss is like, dude, there are literally thousands of reanimated people walking around back at home. They're not gonna pay to see her. But then the boss notices that the other like cryogenically frozen person they brought up was named Voorhees, and apparently they know like who Voorhees is. The boss, knowing that he killed nearly 200 people and just disappeared, and saying that he's actually worth a fortune. And so they plan on, you know, selling Voorhees to the next top buyer. And so that scene ends with one of the with the horny college girl, with the whole mammoth line, coming into his office with a bottle of champagne and some sort of weird metal thing. But then we cut away from that for a little bit as we watch one of the other female college students taking samples from Jason's body and just making notes on it. Then we cut back and the professor is wearing some sort of purple dress. The horny girl's on top of him in her underwear, and she's taking the little metal clamp thing and he's twisting his nipples and he's really getting off on it. What? Oh man. In a woman's lingerie. Getting twitty tisted. Getting off on it. And as he climaxes, he says, "You pass." What kind of kinky ass freaky shit is this? Don't tell me what you watch on Pornhub. Don't tell me that. Already, I am just... This is so strange. This is really, really strange movie. But, of course, later on the professor meets with Rowan and she says that Jason Voorhees is an unstoppable killer. And we then cut to the lab area where the college girls like examining samples over here, and then Jason comes to life and he takes the college girl and he puts her head in a sink area where there's liquid nitrogen, puts her head in. Her head is immediately frozen, takes it up, moves over to the side a little bit, and crashes her head in on the table. That is actually one of the coolest death scenes in this entire franchise. Liquid nitrogen head smash. If this was Mortal Kombat, you could immediately hear fatality. Just like, okay, I'm on board. And then before he leaves, he takes one of the medical instruments that's shaped like a machete and just roams the halls. So, after talking with Rowan, the professor decides to gather up all of his college students and the head military soldier that's accompanying them, just called Sergeant. They do actually give him a name, but his nickname is Sergeant, and he's one of the 2 black people there. That's all you really need to know right now. And then they gather everyone in the room, except for one kid who actually gets killed as he opens his door, and Jason's just there, stabs him through. Alright, just straightforward. Okay. Also, it's revealed to Rowan that they're heading to a place called Earth 2 because the original Earth was apparently dead. Like, oceans dried up, everything just dead. Alright. And Rowan also reveals that back in 2008, they captured Jason. What? 2008? I mean, but in Freddy vs. Jason, which takes place in 2003, he dies. Of course, he's been brought back to life before. I mean, in Friday the 13th Part 2, he just appears as a full-grown adult, even though it said he died as like a 10-year-old kid. So, I guess that still works, and I guess it's just weird. I mean, never really explained. But anyway, 2008, they captured him. They tried killing him a few times, but they decided to just try to put him in a cryogenic state until they could decide otherwise. But of course, this guy went over Rowan's head, and that's where the whole thing from the beginning happens. But it's so weird, because they say they captured him in 2008, but the cryogenic chamber was said to be manufactured in 2010. So there was at least a 2-year gap in between there that I'm really curious about. I just really want to know. So we then cut to like 2, they'll call them soldiers. I'm just going to call them Space Marines because that's basically what they are. More disciplined Space Marines. Just sorry that we don't have Bill Paxton in here because I think he could have brought a lot to this. But anyway, they're apparently two of them apparently doing this like alien monster simulation thing, and Jason's in there, but they decided to call game over because they think he's just part of the game and it was just a glitch. But surprise, it's not a glitch, and he kills one of them by doing Bang from The Dark Knight Rises and just breaks him over his knee. Like, holy shit! You just banged that soldier. Not like Bang, but like Bang from Batman killed. I mean, that's pretty awesome. And then he just basically chokes the other guy, basically. Alright, so of course the professor's off with the sergeant saying like there's financial considerations, please don't kill him. I'll even bribe you to make sure that we capture him alive. Sergeant makes the professor think that he'll take him alive, but he tells the soldiers to just kill him anyway, but make it look like they try to take him alive. Which is actually a pretty smart move on his part. Because, yeah, I would want to kill this thing that's killing people. Why do you... Dude, he's killing people. Why are you so focused on the finances? I mean, dude, your life's literally in danger. Stop being so greedy. Alright. And so, they begin, like, searching through the ship, trying to find Jason. And even though they said earlier Jason has a small brain, he actually goes about this kind of a smart way. I mean, he kills one guy without saying a single word, even covering his mouth as he does it. And there's another soldier where, even though he does fight back a little bit, he kills them still pretty quietly. They don't even know they're dead until they actually come across the bodies. So, I'm actually willing to say that Jason's actually gotten smarter. What's with this whole shit about him having a small brain? And then another Space Marine, he cuts her neck. And when another Space Marine, like, comes and tries to look for her, she walks towards him a little bit, even though her neck is cut over here. I'm just like, no, you would not be able to walk, and there would be a hell of a lot more blood than what is being shown on screen. You'd be bleeding out in seconds. Like, that's just stupid. And so this one Space Marine thinks he's killed Jason, but cut in half. But even though he's cut in half, he moves across the floor a little bit, even calls in the sergeant saying that he has lost ability over Jason. Like, no, I don't care what kind of space age, fancy medical technology you have in this movie. If you're cut clean in half, you're cut clean in half and you're dead. You're dead on sight. You don't have enough time to let someone know what the hell happened. You just don't. Thank you. Quachi agrees with me. Alright, so that was stupid. So all that's left is the sergeant, and in sort of weird homage to Friday the 13th 4, Jason, arm through the wall, holds the sergeant up like this, pokes him, stabs him twice through with a machete, and he leaves Sergeant there to die. So, and now the college students, the professor and Rowan, who are like safely locked themselves in this one room area, they contacted the pilot that's like piloting their like transport ship, and they're coming into the, I guess, space station Solaris, where the professor's boss is, where they will just hopefully like take care of Jason. But Jason kills the pilot, which causes the ship to just basically fly right through the space station, destroying everything, completely destroying everyone on board the space station. So literally it's just these college students, one of them's a black guy, so you know that he's gonna have to die, Rowan and the professor. And so, and even though they're locked themselves in this one room, there's this one window thing that opens down to the hallway, so Jason just smashes through the window like the Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah! And so, most of them like pretty much just run out into the hallway to get away, and the professor's still in the room with Jason. And The professor actually tries to convince Jason not to kill him. He said he can make him rich and famous. And if, and while he's talking, Jason just notices the machete's right there, so he puts down his space age machete and takes up his old one. And the professor thinks that's all he wanted. Like, how dumb do you think? How dumb? You're stupid. You're a dumbass. And he kills the professor off screen, but we still hear his screams. And so they're starting to panic. Rowan asks one of the kids, can't they just like beam them out of here? And the guy's like, what do you mean beam us out of here? Well, that's a Star Trek joke that no one got. I guess Star Trek Discovery pretty much killed the franchise. So, with that lame Star Trek joke, they find one of the dead Space Marines. Rowan takes a gun, like a futuristic gun, says operating a gun is like riding a bike, you don't forget. And so they sort of split up to do these other tasks. And one of the girl, before the scene, is like, what's a bike? What? You don't know what a... Okay, what kind of future is this? Hockey's outlawed, Star Trek is a thing of the past, and no one knows what a bike is? What kind of weird ass future is this? And one of the guys on ship even mentions later on that just be glad that this isn't a Microsoft conflict where they're literally beating each other with their severed limbs. What Microsoft conflict? What kind of future is this? I need to understand what kind of future this is. Why are you not telling me stuff? So actually early on we learned that one of the people, so-called college students, is actually a robot that's made by one of the college students. And so they're off together trying to figure out how to like get access to like the weaponry stuff. And the robot girl is like, our probability of making it is not very likely. And so in a weird way, the guy kisses the robot, like kisses his female robot he created. He's like, what are chances to get there now? She's like, 53%. Okay, you may be a robot, but you should know the minute you do anything sexual in the horror movie, your probability of surviving immediately goes down, not up. So Rowan, one of the female students, and the black guy, they try to get onto this one like escape pod, I guess it is, but that thing ends up getting destroyed because the girl that did manage to get on there just freaked out, sort of like crashed the ship into the bigger ship and killed herself. Like, great job, you. And so Jason's there, he's about to kill them, but the guy and his robot girlfriend now are there, and the robot girlfriend has all these guns, these bullets, even tight leather clothing. Where did you get that? Jason just throws his machete at her, thinks she's dead, goes to her body to retrieve it, and she's like, ha! I ain't dead, I'm a robot, bitch, and just punches him. And this actually goes into a pretty cool fight. I mean, she's just emptying bullets into Jason right now. And near the end of this big fight, she shoots off his right leg, shoots off his left arm, pushes him through a wall where he lands on like the table in the medical station where Rowan was reanimated, and takes one of the heavier guns and blasts this part of his head clean off. Holy shit, that was awesome. Right? Yeah, yeah, manly, yeah. And so now it pretty much looks like he's dead. And actually, in a weird twist, they actually find, like, Sergeant, the other black guy. He's actually still alive, so they take him to a separate medical station and use nanobots to revive him. And they get a response call from one of the ships that got their distress call they sent out earlier, saying that they're 4 parsecs away and can be there any minute. Well, they will be there any minute if they will find the Millennium Falcon, but, you know, this isn't Star Wars. And so the survivors that are left on the ship don't think that the ship's going to just explode unless they, like, cut off the damaged part of the ship off by using explosives. And while they're setting up the explosives, apparently the medical station where Jason was just turns on by itself, sends the nanobots to actually revive Jason. And as they're as the survivors like setting explosives in this hallway, out comes what is known as Uber Jason, and I I no joke. I know I'm not showing any scenes right now, but I want you to look up Uber Jason online. Go ahead, look up Uber Jason and tell me that is not a prototype for Lord Zed from Power Rangers. Tell me that is not Lord Zed. Hell, when I first saw him coming out, I half expected this song to be playing. I am not joking. He looks like a Lord Zed concept art that the Power Rangers people decided to throw away and just give to this movie. Although, to be fair, even though he does look like Lord Zed, no joke, he actually still looks pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie, he actually does look kind of badass. so, he, so he, most of the survivors like get out of the hallway, seal the door, but the one black kid still there getting beaten up, but he still sets off the explosive, which cuts off the damaged part of the ship away, and that seems to like keep the ship that the survivors are on like still maintaining power and such. But even then, Uber Jason punches through the good part of the ship and starts a space vacuum, which sucks away the last surviving college girl out into space. Which I don't know how that hole he made is way too small for an entire person to go through, but whatever. So they cut off that part of the ship, and right now it's just the sergeant, Rowan, the Brainiac kid who made the female robot, and the female robot's head who's still talking and such. Like, okay, guess Jason, even though he punched your head off, you're still working. That's cool. So, the ship that received the distress call comes, like, sort of attaches like a tube thing to one of the doors, but the door is stuck on their end, so the sergeant's going to do like an EVA thing where he goes out in a spacesuit to try to fix some stuff from the outside so that the Brainiac college kid can open the door from the inside. But of course, they see that Uber Jason has managed to get on board the ship. So they decide to do a distraction by having Jason enter the game simulation room from earlier, and the robot girl activates a simulation, which is Crystal Lake. This is actually smart. A Crystal Lake simulation to distract Jason. And it actually does look like it's working. But then he sees the college kid there and starts walking towards him. Again, why do you say he has a small brain? He actually is kind of smart. But they activate another distraction by putting in 2 hologram girls. And they literally say to Jason, hey, you want to have a beer or smoke some pot or have premarital sex? They both take off the shirts. They're now naked from the waist up. They're like, we love premarital sex. You just did it. You literally just put in the cliches and tropes that cause people to die in slasher movies. You actually use tropes to your advantage. That's smart. Of course, that doesn't last long because the girls get in their sleeping bags, and Jason takes one of the sleeping bags with the girls, just hitting the other one, which kills both of them somehow. But of course, the sergeant from outside the ship gets everything working. The college kid, the robot head, and Rowan get onto the rescuing ship just fine and safe. And Sergeant manages to get inside the ship that Jason's on and closes the door, trapping himself and Jason on that ship. And as the rescuing ship that Rowan and the college kid are on are flying away, the Jason ship blows up. But even though it blows up, Jason is still hurtling towards the rescuing ship like, I'm coming, motherfuckers! But even though he's coming in from this way, somehow, even though the sergeant was in the same room as him, he intercepts Jason and takes him towards Earth 2. And as they're entering the atmosphere of Earth 2, they are set on fire, they are incinerated. And the movie ends with two kids on Earth 2 seeing something fall into the lake, and we cut to what did fall in the lake, which was Jason's mask, now resting at the bottom of this unknown lake. And that is Jason X. How is it? With no joking whatsoever, this is actually a surprisingly good film. Now, I'm not saying this is great or anything, but given the premise of this film and what we've seen in the past, it's actually a lot better than I was expecting. I mean, there is of some stupid stuff, but sometimes they actually use the stupid stuff to their advantage. It's a serious movie, but doesn't take itself too seriously. It knows how to put in some laughs and such. And there's actually a pretty good creative kills too, including liquid nitrogen. And Uber Jason, even though I laughed at him, he actually looks pretty badass. And that is my 100th video. And like I said earlier, shout out to my subscribers. I thank you for your support, your interest in my channel, and even though I have no budget, on the bright side, I have nowhere to go but up. And Quachi, of course, thanks you. And that is my 100th video. I'm Dr. Cinema, and I'm gonna try to prove that Jason actually does end up being Lord Zedd from Power Rangers. Wish me luck.